the whole premise behind Countdown is to give you as much of everything in a little nutshell of 90 minutes. Everything from highlighting individuals that are doing amazing things to the current events, news, and a little bit of mindfulness, a little bit of mental health awareness, a little bit of physical health awareness, a little bit of Persian poetry, a little bit of everything. And we first start this segment with our amazing Paris Mansouri from Montreal. She's been a uniter since day one, a dear friend of mine for 15 years, and she's a journalist. She's going to be providing bite-sized segments every single week. Look how lucky I am. She's worked as a TV, radio, and print journalist and producer for over 20 years and is lending her support in producing this program as well. So without any further ado, Paris, we're on day 124. Welcome to Countdown.
Welcome to Countdown. It's day 124, like you said, and listen, there's many more days ahead. Hopefully not that many, but we will be there every step of the way.
So first of all, I appreciate you for doing everything you've been doing on behalf of all the Uniters, all Iranians. We truly love and appreciate you. On Monday, this past Monday, 12,000 Iranians, they headed to the EU Parliament in Strasbourg, which was an amazing turnout, of course, to demand that the EU countries designate the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps as a terrorist organization. And I know you have some updates. The vote was taken today. What were the results?
Yeah, so 598 to 9 voted in favor. There were 31 abstentions. And what's going to happen next is that they're going to have to vote on it. They're going to have to take a decision on it over at the EU. The countries are going to have to take a stand. That's going to happen on Monday. So we'll be waiting, desperately waiting for good news on Monday. And just so everyone has an idea, currently the EU list of terrorist entities includes some 20 organizations. Among them are Al-Qaeda, Islamic State, Hamas, and the armed wing of Hezbollah, which is supported by Iran. And we are really, really hoping that the IRGC gets included on that list as well. And we'll know on Monday.
For sure. And I want to give a shout out to every single person that showed up in Strasbourg. I hadn't even heard about that city before this, but Iranians, they showed up, they showed out, estimated 12,000, that's amazing. So there's also in the past, like, I don't know, a day or two, a campaign that was launched to give power of attorney to Iran's exiled crown prince, Reza Pahlavi. What do we know about it?
Yeah, so this campaign was launched after an interview in Persian on Manoto TV. He was asked a question about why he's not assuming a role leading this movement. As we know, there are many players and power players working towards helping elevate the voices of Iranian and really helping this movement. So he was, point blank asked, why are you not doing anything? And his answer was, I'm looking down, so I want to make sure I don't get it wrong. He said, any kind of work we do must have a legitimate basis or some kind of power of attorney inside Iran. And basically that statement inspired a petition. Someone started it, and we've just passed 200,000 signatories. It's important to note that signing this petition does not mean that you're supporting, the crown prince who's living in exile as your general representative. It's just giving him power of attorney as a representative to lead this movement from transition from clerical regime to a secular rule, and to give Iranians essentially the right and the power to have a referendum to decide their future and their fate for themselves. So the change.org petition, as I said, surpassed 200,000 signatures just about a couple of minutes ago. I'd say like 10 or 15 minutes ago. And there are a lot of prominent artists and athletes who've signed it, along with, thousands around the world.
I'll be very honest. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be freaking out, any anti-monarchists out there. And so I hope that people just kind of realize that the coalition has been built, but somebody needs to steer the ship. And he seems to be at least one of the people that the people are asking. So we'll see how that turns out. Thank you so much for the update. Now, in financial news, on January 11th, Ibrahim Raisi, the president of the Islamic Republic, tabled the draft budget for the new year, which begins March 2023. Can you share some of the notable points on that?
I wish I didn't have to share notable points on such a... Listen, the budget, considering the state the country is in, the numbers just really don't match. And hopefully our audience will gain insight on why when I state these numbers. So Reuters has reported that a source basically stating Iran Statistics Center says that inflation in the country has soared over 50%. And the same report states that over 50% of Iranians are currently living below the poverty line. So you would think the budget would address that. But let me let me share with you some of these numbers. And again, I'm going to look down to share these numbers with you. The budget that has been allocated for the year 2023, which is our year, Miladi, the budgets of the Intelligence Ministry and the Prisons Organization, they've seen an increase of 50%. And the budget for the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has seen an increase of 28%. And state TV and radio, which we know is fully censored and fully controlled by the state, has had a 42% increase. So those lovely numbers just definitely don't add up for the people watching on the outside.
I'm not surprised at all. Unfortunately, they don't seem like people that know how to do some very good money management. They've never been able to take care of its people, and those numbers are just reflecting of that. But thank you so much for the update about that. You know, as we know, there's an estimated more than 20,000 people that have been detained. There are some updates about certain detainees. Would love to kind of hear a little bit more about what you have on that end.
Absolutely. So again, keeping in mind that we will never have the full list. I mean, 20,000 is a rough estimate. We will never have the final numbers. As we know, there's many thousands of individuals who've just gone missing, who aren't being able to track, or just their families say they never came home. So they actually have no clue what's happened to these individuals. So when I share these names and this information, I just want to be really mindful of that. Nawab Ibrahimi, he was the chef who was arrested after posting a cooking video about making kotlet. He was thankfully freed on bail. To this moment, we don't know what the charges ever were that were laid against him, so really unknown. But as we know, there's sometimes often no rhyme and reason to what our government, the Islamic regime, does to its people. And it's, as a side note, we know that how they treat protesters and detainees. But while we're watching people get death sentences for protesting, an Iranian man today was confirmed that his sentence for beheading his wife and parading her beheaded head around the city, I'm sorry for being graphic, he's getting an 8-year jail sentence.
8 years. I saw that Instagram, and it pissed me off, and I shared it. So, you know, first of all, it's great. The person, what was his name? The one with the cutlet. You were saying his name right now?
Nawab Ibrahimi.
Nawab Ibrahimi. So, like, you know, his story went pretty viral because of how insane of a story it was. But I'm assuming that it was all about these hashtags and everybody bringing awareness. So these hashtags, the social media stuff, even though some people were saying, oh no, Faidena, it's not going to do anything, they're proving to be helpful. So what are some hashtags right now that everybody here watching can just do on Twitter or on Instagram to just make as much noise as possible? What are the most trending or need to be trending hashtags?
Right now, it's really a focus on hashtag IRGC terrorists. That's really the most important hashtag. Just when you're speaking about the topic or a related topic, make sure you're using that hashtag regardless of the platform that you're on. We are going to always continue to mention the names of Tumaj Salehi and Saman Yassin. And again, we understand there are many thousands more, and there are names that you want to highlight to us. Make sure that you tag us at Let's Unite and Conquer and let us know what hashtags you would like us to highlight. But yes, Tumaj Salehi, Saman Yassin, IRCG terrorists, and of course the mainstays, hashtag Mahsa Amini, hashtag Iran Revolution. Those are the ones that the platforms are really following, and we definitely want to keep amplifying the voices of Iranians using those hashtags.
Awesome. Well, Paris, I really appreciate you giving us these bite-sized news and info and updates. They're incredibly important. And so, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who think that your voice doesn't matter, for those of you who think that, oh, I only have like a couple hundred followers, just know that with sharing stories, with hashtags, with a small Twitter following, you're still able to do a lot. So thank you so much, Paris, and see you next Wednesday.